Hello, everybody. Welcome inside the bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. We're back. Eric Ballner, Michael Dunn.
We are. How are you, mate? You going all right?
I saw you yesterday.
You did, but sort of we haven't had a chat like this for a while. So
How was
your dad? How was Barnbougle? Tell us all about it, man.
Yeah, it was good. My dad came. He went. Spoke in our Canadian accents with Canadian slangs for a little bit.
At the end of it?
Well, yeah, there were a few Canadian. It was nice to hang out with a Canadian the entire time.
Someone you could understand.
Yeah, it's two countries divided by a common language.
And then you went down to the wonderful Barnbougle.
And Lost Farm, and then did some hiking around Tassie.
Beautiful down there, isn't it?
It was sick. I loved it. So, yeah, it was pretty good. Had a week that was pretty much off just to kind of hang out with my dad, who I hadn't seen in 3.5 years. And that was pretty cool. It was cool to have him come out to a couple of the Giants games and see what we do around here. And so it's kind of cool to show him what goes on around here.
Excellent. That's good, man.
Yeah, it should be good. Neil Poulton on the show today. We'll get to him in a second, but we got to recap Hilltop headlines. And there's a few to get through because we missed 2 weeks. And I don't normally like to go through multiple games, but Saturday was the most insane day Was there a more insane day of the baseball season than Saturday?
Not so far this year, there hasn't been. That was by far a bit of a strange one.
Every game was significant pretty much, and I'll just run through each of them and give a quick little highlight of it because everyone deserves a shout-out. East Torrens beat Southern Districts to creep within 1 point of a final spot. Sturt, who are on my wagon list, had won like 11 in a row, rolling over teams, had bases loaded in the bottom of the 10th inning, tied 8-8, and they couldn't score a run, and then Glenelg comes back and they win, and they've won. That was to give them 3 in a row. That's the play right there that drove in the winning run in the top of the 8th, and then they got that last strikeout, and that was a fired-up win as Glenelg are making a charge towards the finals. So that was a little bit insane. Then there was Port Adelaide, who were down 7 runs in the 9th inning, and then tied the game.
Amazing.
And
7
then,
in the last to tie it.
And then in extra innings,
yeah,
down 3, walk them off.
That
was insane. And
that's an Adelaide Giants finish normally, isn't it?
We talked about this on the broadcast, and we'll give them a shout-out later on, but that was a Wayne Durbridge moment.
Yes. Yes, we'll talk more about that later on. But there must have been some favours from above on that one, I would think.
Woodville, 6-3 win. Josh Tolles, 18 strikeouts. Is that good?
That was against
Port.
Goodwood.
Against Port. Woodville beat Port.
Oh, yes. No, you're right. They did, yes. Well, Tolsey's back, right? The more he throws, the better he's going to get. So, a few punch-outs.
Golden Grove, no-hitter in 7 innings versus Northern Districts.
That's not bad either, is it?
Yeah,
and just chucks up a 20 spot as well.
And Henley and Grange did what Henley and Grange do, and they won 5-0. That was the most predictable, and I mean that with all due respect. Like, that's probably the result that actually was supposed to happen, and it actually did. But everything else was insane. But it just goes to show, Dunny, you got to be careful. Anyone can beat anyone.
Yep. Yeah, on the given day, this is what I'm saying. You just never know, and pitchers play such a big part in it that, and if they're on, like Tolles is on, it doesn't matter who he's playing, he's hard to beat.
Unbelievable. That set up a pretty crazy Tuesday with a pretty hectic standings, the top really tight, the middle really tight. This all in the D1 State League competition, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. The results kind of went as expected, and teams beating teams as you want. Sturt back on top, Goodwood beating Kensington. Southern Districts needed to win that game. But what gets interesting here is that Golden Grove, with the tie in East Torrens, effectively puts Southern Districts with a 1.5 or a 2-game lead, depending on who you're looking at in that leaderboard. I'll go through some of the results in a second, but here's a look at the standings and how that all shapes up. That will pop up on screen in a second, but it's really, really tight if you look at the standings between 6th and 9th place. Golden Grove losing touch a little bit. So out of those teams, Dunny, and I can even give you the cheat sheet there. There's all the remaining games.
Yep.
Who's going to catch Southern Districts? Who's got the best chance out of East Torrens, Glenelg, Woodville, all within that 2-game striking distance with 4 or 5 to play?
Well, Glenelg have I think they've got a big chance, and we spoke about it a little bit last night, because they don't have a bye. So they play 6 straight, which gives them an opportunity to get 12 points. The other teams they're only playing 5, so the most they can get is 10, where Glenelg could get 12. Yeah. So they're them, and I mean, if Southern Districts have got it at their own mercy, right? If they keep winning, they stay where they are. If they lose, they play to their own destiny, really.
And a few home games, and Glenelg has Norths up next. They just played North. Sorry, they just played North. So they got Henley and Grange.
Yep.
Then they got Port.
Yep.
Then they got Kensington, which is a winnable game. Then West Torrens. West Torrens are out of form right now. And then Adelaide. So there's some games that Glenelg could win there. They'll be tough, but Southern Districts have Goodwood, West Torrens, Kensington coming up.
Yep.
It's going to be someone's going to need the team that upsets a team above them is the team that's going to make it.
So I'm going to give you a prediction here.
Yep.
That the final sixth spot in the finals will come down to the last game.
I hope so.
I think it will.
I hope so. So
We're not sure where, but I reckon somewhere along the track it's going to come down to that last game.
Shout out to Glenelg. They're 5-1-1 in February. They beat Sturt. They beat Southern Districts twice. They're taking care of business. Jaden Eldridge, 88 innings pitched this year. It's by far the most in that club.
Yep.
87 strikeouts, so a strikeout an inning, and a sub-3 ERA.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
A young buck as well.
Yeah, he's the future of Glenelg.
And that is a huge step forward. And Glenelg started 0-7.
Yeah, they've done really well in the second half, haven't they? It's interesting to try and work out what turns it around. You gel together, you get a little bit better teammates, you understand people a bit more.
We might have to get someone from Glenelg on the show.
Yeah, let's
especially
get them
if they keep charging up the standings.
They're my dark horse.
They're looking pretty good right now. They're picking up some speed. Take a look at the stats leaders. It's been a while since we've done this, and this is one of the only spots you can get the accumulated stats leaders.
Yeah.
This show right here, Jeremy Creswell, your boy, up on the batting average leader. When I left, Austin Gallagher wasn't even on the home run list, and he wasn't on the RBI list, and now he leads home runs with 11 and 30 RBIs.
Yeah, he's had a good couple of weeks, hasn't he?
Oh, Gally's pounding the ball.
Bit of a tear.
He had 2 home runs in an inning.
Really?
Yeah, versus Northern Districts a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. 2,
and then he came down and called the rest of the Adelaide Giants Team Australia game. He was a busy guy that day.
There you go.
Pitching stats here. Jackson Brebner-Russ putting together a really nice season. He's going to be a Caps medal, maybe the favorite at this point. Mitch Neuenborn, he's back on track after missing a chunk of that middle season, doing a lot with the Giants.
Yep.
But his ERA going down. Mitch Neuenborn, shout out to him. West Torrens player. He's the only player that regularly plays in the South Australian Baseball League that got the call up to Team Australia.
Yeah, that's a big call up for him. And I think also during the week he got a surprise from his fiancée.
Did he?
Yes.
What was that?
She just turned up.
What?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, it was a bit of a story I saw on Facebook. I hope that is true. But
wow, I hope that is true.
So that's really cool. That's a really cool surprise for him to have his fiancée just turn up out of nowhere, and he didn't know. So I'm sure he's a pretty sensitive sort of guy. Might have had a few tears even.
Oh, I love that. I love it when good things happen to good people.
That's great.
It is awesome. So let's look at the men's competition, the D1 State League competition. On the women's side of things, okay, I need to apologize because I put a wagon alert out to a few teams. Goodwood, lose. Sturt, lose. Southern District's women's baseball team, lose.
You might have some rocks being thrown through your windows at home soon.
It is the wagon curse right now.
You might need to keep your wagons to yourself.
I think I need to. No wagon alerts right now. But and now I'm talking up Glenelg on the show.
Oh.
Now they're going to lose.
Look out. Yeah,
so I apologize, Tigers. I've just crushed.
Nah, they'll be good.
Crushed your season.
I got them coming home hard.
Over the weekend, there's a look at some of the results. I think it was actually, sorry, I mixed that one up. That's my fault on there. I even wrote it down. That was Sturt that actually beat Woodville. They're 13-1 on the standings. Woodville down to 4-9-1. So the standings is the important part of this graphic right here.
Yep.
So Sturt have clinched minor premiership. Woodville can't finish higher or lower than 4th. East Torrens eliminated. So Southern Districts and Glenelg are in a battle for 2nd and 3rd, and that's really, really important.
And how many games left?
There's 2 weeks left.
And do Southern Districts and Glenelg play each other?
I don't think so. But whoever finishes 2nd is so crucial.
Yeah, double chance, right?
Yeah.
It's important.
And Woodville are finding a bit of form lately. I mean, they haven't really been healthy the whole year, and now they're getting, they have Megan Boers full-time again and Donna Veen back full-time.
Yep.
And some Carly Moore's healthy, so they're going to be tricky to beat in a one-game elimination playoff when they're all hands on deck at Woodville. So I don't think you really want to play an elimination game that early. You'd rather have that double chance to get to the grand final.
Totally.
So it's going to be that's where the interesting battle is right now with those two teams. And Glenelg, they were started off hot. It's going to be an interesting finish.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing how that finishes up as well, especially that 2nd and 3rd spot.
And 2 players that I'm watching for this, Jess Maslin hitting .537 this year.
What? That's crazy. 23 RBIs, 12 extra base hits. That's a big year.
And a breakout year, though. Haley Barnes, 13 RBI, an OBP of 579, and hitting 467 for South. She wasn't, to be totally honest, on my radar at the start of this season. So Haley Barnes putting up a big year. Big shout out to you over at Southern District. So they've got something special going on at South this year.
Yeah.
Their men's team might creep into that top 6 spot. Their women's team might be contending for a final.
Yeah, they're getting better and better every year, aren't they? And they'll just keep creeping up as they play more games and they get more consistent and then a little bit more experience, and all of a sudden they'll be back in the finals every year, like they were in the 90s and the 2000s.
So when you were coaching towards the point and end of the season, were you ever in a race like this, like for a final spot, just trying to get by, or?
Oh yeah, I'm sure we were. We had some pretty good teams, so most of the time we were in the top area of things. So, but I don't think, not to the point of, as I said, where it comes down to some critical games right at the end there. So, there has been some teams in the comps that I was in that were in those critical games that the last round made them or broke them. So
I guess my point is too, if you're Glen Elg right now and you've been playing finals baseball since the start of January, if you get in the finals, you've already beat some top 6 teams. You've already had to win pretty much all these big games to get in there.
Yeah.
They're kind of a dangerous team because they've already been playing with their backs against the wall, high intensity baseball for a while.
Yeah, and they've been playing those teams that are in the top 5 or top 6 anyway.
So anyone, same with East Torrance, right?
Yeah.
Like they're picking up steam too.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting finish. I'm looking forward to the next 5 games.
So it will be very interesting. But speaking of interesting fellows, we got Neil Poulton coming up after the break. Going to chat about his umpiring career and what he decided to do after the end of that Giants team.
Hilltop Office Supplies are here to provide you with all your stationery, sanitary products and office equipment. We are a local business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
Back inside the bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. Neil Poulton has joined us today as our featured guest. Neil, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Great to be here and sitting here in the shade. That's nice.
It's a beautiful night down here at West Beach, isn't it?
It was beautiful, yes, on the weekend too. So it's really good.
Neil, really wanted to get you on the show because at the end of that last Giants game versus Team Australia Futures, you've I guess it was a decision you made before, but it was a special game for you because it was your last at that level, if I understand correctly. So tell us about that and what you've decided to do.
It was a decision I made back when I was 22.
What?
It was a long time ago. I guess when I started ABL, I came in at that really young age, and what I saw was me displacing a lot of guys that have been there for a long time. And they were pretty unhappy about it, I guess, as most people are. And I sort of made the decision then I wasn't going to be one of those guys. I was going to be someone who stepped away when the next group of people are ready. And we're in a position now where we've got a really good young group of umpires coming in that are capable of doing ABL. They need me to get out of the way so they can get some games under their belt and then go on and have a long career. So good time to finish, and I put myself out on second base hoping that nothing would go wrong and I'd have nothing to do for the game, and just got to enjoy the atmosphere. So
I wish that we clipped up the video, because now that I think about it, when Riley Yateman was turning around for the pickoff.
Is that the one you nearly got hit in the head?
Yeah, so there was 2 that series. I had one coming from centre field that I'd moved out the way, but the throw was wild. He threw it straight at me, and there's some great video of me hitting the ground and rolling over. And then, Riley goes to pick off, and he looked straight at me and still threw the ball straight at me. So I think as he was letting it go, you could see the horror on his face, just realising where he'd thrown the ball. So
yeah, right at you. Yeah. Perfect place. So how many years umpiring was it in the ABL and at that level, and how many games?
So it was from start to finish was across 28 years, which is a long time at that level. I did have 2 seasons off in there, so it was 26 years through the original ABL, through the IBLA, into Claxton Shield, and then into the new ABL as well. So it was a long time.
So you were 22 when you broke in at that top level?
Yep.
So first off, I guess back in tracking here is why did you become an umpire and how did you get into it?
Yeah, so that started probably when I was 12. The done thing at the time was I was out at Golden Grove Way playing Pee-wee baseball, and if you had brothers and sisters that were playing younger than you, when you got to high school, your job was to go and umpire them. So I started umpiring T-ball and Pee-wee baseball out at Golden Grove. Played right through, played under 18s at Northern Districts, then went to Golden Grove, and I was the inaugural catcher for Golden Grove when they started in the league. So I was their senior catcher, but then I was playing Division 3 and umpiring the game. There was alongside that, and so I was just a club umpire. And I did that for a few years, and then in 1992 I started with Baseball SA as a league umpire. And then, it went on from there. 94, I was lucky enough to be sent away to professional umpire school.
So how many do you reckon? How many total?
Games?
Yeah, what do you reckon? As a guess.
As a guess, if I included all the Little League, Pee-wee, probably about 2,500.
Whew.
So
that's a fair stint, isn't it?
yeah, so
There's no way you can do, just to play baseball in South Australia or be involved in baseball at any level, you have to have a passion for the sport, right, to do it. And that's even if you're doing it for 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, whatever it is. But to do that for more than 3 decades of umpiring, there has to be an innate passion for that side of the game and how the game runs. Am I wrong?
Oh no, most definitely. I umpired last night out at Goodwood. And I came off that game and went, that's about the most relaxed I've been all day. For me now, baseball is just relaxing. That's my time out. That's when I can go and relax. Calling balls and strikes at Division 1 level is better than watching TV for me most of the time. So,
yeah.
And you get that interaction with people all the time.
You do. The number of people I know, and I guess it's interesting being in this position in the league where everybody knows me. It doesn't mean I'm a celebrity, but everybody knows me.
Yeah.
And so you can walk into every club, and you know someone at every club that you walk into, or you have a long history. There's people that I've known for 30 years in this game.
Yeah.
One of them sitting next to me.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about the Olympics and tell everyone at home how many you've been to and where were they, and what was that experience like?
So the Olympics is interesting. So I've been to 2 Olympics. I did Sydney and Athens. I got into that, I guess, just through the normal pathway. I went and did umpired junior national championships, got selected to go away to do a junior international series. From that, the junior international series led into the Intercontinental Cup in '99, where we had, I think, 8 Australian umpires involved in that. And then out of that, 4 umpires were selected for Sydney. 2 South Australians, and myself and Paul Begg, were selected for the Sydney Olympics. So, and that was an awesome experience. Anybody who's went to the Sydney Olympics just went, you've gone to your home country Olympics. It doesn't get, any better than that.
And were you around when the major league teams came to Sydney as well? Were you involved in the umpiring panel when the big league teams came here and played Australia at this SCG? Were you involved in that?
No, I wasn't actually. It fell during that season that I had off. And through many things, I never got to go there. It would have been a great experience to go there. There's a couple of the guys that were there umpiring I knew from different championships that I'd been to around the world anyway, and it was good to catch up. The Olympics, it's an interesting thing with the Olympics. People look at the Olympics because it's the Olympic Games and go, oh, that must be the pinnacle of baseball. But at international baseball level, the Olympics is actually fairly small.
Yeah.
It's not all these different countries.
It's not the best on best.
No, and it's a smaller tournament. It's like a week-long event. When you go and do a World Cup, you might have 18 countries involved, and you're there for 3 weeks. And
so, how do you navigate that when you're umpiring people that you don't speak the same language of?
I've been on the field where neither umpire spoke the same language as any other umpire, and neither team spoke the same language as anybody else on the field as well.
I mean, I guess there's universal symbols for what's going on, but if there's an issue, like, what if somebody's like, okay, there's a close play at first base, a bang play? How do you sort that? How do you sort that out?
Yep. So at international baseball, there is 2 languages that they use. So it's English and Spanish are the 2 languages of international baseball. So you've always got interpreters around that. Somewhere along the lines, through an interpreter, we're able to get those communications. But yeah, going through an experience where a manager's trying to argue with you through an interpreter, it's a very different. It relies a lot on body language and there's certain words that are universal across the world. So you get, and sometimes they come out as well. So.
You sometimes wish some of the English-speaking managers that you're dealing with, maybe here or elsewhere, could be like, I wish you were just speaking French or something like that, because nothing's going to change, don't matter what you say here.
Some of the managers you run into, they're speaking another language anyway, so it's hard to...
So let's just go through. We got some other questions for you here as well. So, in the time you've been around, the best player that you've ever been on the field with at the same time?
Probably Ken Griffey Jr.
What?
Or Roger Clements or A-Rod.
Where was this?
This is
the World Cup?
This is World Classic. This is World Baseball Classic.
What?
So I was lucky enough.
You were in the same field.
I did the
That's so
2006 WBC.
Yeah.
And I was in the same pool and ended up traveling with the US team.
See, that's a bigger deal than the Olympics in a baseball world.
City to city. So I did almost all of the minor round games with the US team. And I had Ken Griffey Jr., I had a running joke with him for the entire 3 weeks in that he wanted me to throw him out of the game. And so he'd run out and onto the field. I'm working third base. He'd run past me onto the field with a different insult every game, just to see if he could get ejected.
Any you could share?
Probably not.
That's amazing. You get an inside joke with one of the greatest baseball players to ever play the game.
It was fantastic, and that environment, that was 3 weeks of living Major League style baseball.
Well, that's the reason you do it, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole reason you do it. You stand there and you go, this is why I do this. This is the exact reason why I do this.
And there would have been a bunch of people in the crowd watching on TV every single little moment you do. If it's not analyzed on our live streams that we do on a Tuesday night when it's a bang play, that's a whole other level.
Yeah, I had a play that ironically I wasn't actually involved with that I got credited worldwide for making the call, and it was a tag up play, US versus Japan. Fly ball to left field, and I'm working third base. Fly ball to left field, runner on third, tagging up. I've run out to the outfield to call the catch, so I've got nothing else to do with this play. The runner on third has tagged up and gone home, and the US have gone back and appealed third. The second base umpire called safe on the appeal. He then got overruled by the plate umpire, who was an American.
Okay.
But it's his call, though, right?
It was always his call.
Home plate
It was
call,
always
right?
his call.
Yeah.
It was always his call. Of course, the replays showed that he was wrong. Japan lost the game by 1 run because of it. But worldwide, because I was the only international umpire out there and the play was at third and I was the third base umpire, I got credited with making the correct call in the first place.
There you go.
Claim it.
And I'll take
Perfect.
that, yeah.
What do you? I'm curious from the umpire perspective here, because we're talking about video and all this technology coming in, and you see leagues trialing like crazy things like robo umpires and then taking that away and whatever. What's your kind of view on technology in terms of the way its role in officiating the game?
Yeah, look, I'm 100% in support of video replays on close plays. You know, it's impossible to always be in the right position, in the right angle all the time. It takes a lot of pressure off the umpire and it stops a lot of the arguments. You don't see a lot of ejections at Major League level because of a play at a base.
Well, it's right, isn't it? You get the right. In the
right.
end, in any sport, you just want to get the right decision.
Yeah. In terms of the robo umpires for balls and strikes, I don't think the technology's there yet.
I don't think the players loved it
I
either.
don't think the players can adjust. There's so many nuances about balls and strikes and different pitches and different catches and that can go on that I think you lose something from the game if you're going to rely on technology for that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple more quick ones for you about your umpire career. Best game you were involved in? Is there one that you can think of being like, wow, that was an insane game and I am so lucky that I was just a small part of that, whatever it was?
I think just personally for me was the championship game with the Giants out at Nord Oval.
With the 3 home run game?
Yeah, I think it turned out to be one of the biggest televised sporting events in Australia that year.
Yeah.
That was my first ABL championship plate.
So were you the plate for the home run trifecta? Or was it just that whole series? The whole weekend was awesome.
I did game 2, so whichever one that was.
Which was an awesome game. That was big televised. That was sellout at Norwood Oval, 5,500 people, ESPN. The Giants had a chance to win that game.
Let's not go through it, Eric. 42 years we've been waiting.
No,
we're still
but
waiting.
honestly though, like people ask me at home, like what some of the best sporting events you've been to? Is like, man, you have no idea. That was a weird, special energy at that Norwood Oval Championship Series. It was insane.
No, that was great, and to be able to do those environments. I remember some of the games at Nord Oval in the first ABL. Where we had some massive crowds, 10, 11,000 people crammed into Nord Oval is a lot of people.
Yep. We had 11, I think it was 11,500 one night against Brisbane.
Yeah.
That whole left field stand was completely full, like right down to the left field line. It was 11,500 there.
I want to go back
it was
for that.
great. It was great fun.
What about the funniest? Who's someone that like always made you laugh in your interactions, whether it be a manager or a player? I'm probably more interested in Australia, just because it's like you would interact with these guys quite regularly during a season. So you're like, okay, yeah, this guy's just making me chuckle a little bit here that you kind of interact with on the field.
Probably Buckets. Makes me laugh all the time. So Shane Barclay, he was coaching, I think, New South Wales at the time, and he was always hilarious, and would just come out with the stupidest things, or he'd come out and just talk to you just for the hell of it, and make fun of the situation. There's a lot of funny guys around the league here that we have a lot of fun with. Probably not so many managers, too much pressure for them to smile half the time, but players themselves, there's some funny players around the place. So.
Well, Neil, we really appreciate you joining the show. We got a few questions we ask every guest to kind of wrap this up. I'm going to eliminate baseball from any of your answers, though, because our first question we always ask is, what is your best sporting event that you've ever been to? And you can't say anything related to baseball. That's my only rule on you. Other guys, we're like, yeah, you can do that, but I'm taking away from you.
The 97 AFL Grand Final. Crows.
Okay.
I'm a Crows supporter, so...
and you got to go.
Yeah, and I got to go, so that was fantastic. So that was good. And I guess the other one was probably the showdown that I went, and it was the last game I went with my father before he passed away, and we actually got a corporate box for him and went to the showdown. So
that would have been good.
That's just a special moment that you don't forget those things. And what about if you could go to any sporting event in the future, in the past, whatever it is that you haven't been to before? If you could rearrange time, what would it be?
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania? What?
Out of nowhere.
Absolutely, WrestleMania. No,
Is that like
most
Hulk Hogan's
definitely.
days? Is that wrestle sort of era?
I
or?
go all the way through. I was a bit of a John Cena fan.
Get out!
He's.
Are you a hockey guy at all?
No.
Okay, I need you to do some homework for me. When you go home, go to YouTube, a guy named Bruce Boudreau. He's the head coach of one of the teams in the NHL. Really likable guy. In his post-game conference the other day, someone was just like, Bruce, you're a wrestling fan, right? He's just like, can you just tell me who your favorite wrestler is out of curiosity? And he goes, how long do you got? And he sits down and he lists out his 5 favorite wrestlers with all these reasons in the middle of a conference after they won a game like 3-1.
Really?
They're supposed to talk about power plays and all that.
He's just
He loves
wrestling.
What's his name? Chris Hart?
Yep.
But
so,
yeah.
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart.
Hart.
That's what it is. See, I'm a wrestling guy.
So
clearly.
who is your favorite all-time wrestler?
Okay, when I was a little kid, it had to be Hulk Hogan.
Of course, everyone loves Hulk Hogan.
Probably now, I'm still a big Randy Orton fan.
Really?
I think Randy Orton is
There you go.
is the guy to go for. So,
Wouldn't have
Do you
picked
like The
that.
Rock's pump-up speech during the Super Bowl?
yes, yeah. No, I saw a little bit of that. So, yeah, the Rock's good, but he's an actor now. So, yeah, sort of leave it at that. I was lucky enough to go to WWE when it was in Adelaide.
Nice.
And,
Awesome. That's one of my favorite responses.
I haven't heard that one before, and we weren't expecting that
No.
either, so that was the other thing. Childhood hero? Who is your childhood hero?
That's hard. Rick Davies.
Really good footballer, wasn't he? He was a great
You got to educate me right now.
Yeah, so Rick Davies used to be a full forward for Sturt.
Yeah.
Back in the day. My dad played league football for Woodville a little bit, but we're all Sturt supporters, so Rick Davies was the greatest, and I always remember him coming to our primary school and teaching us how to get out of a tackle, which was simply drop the ball and swing your leg and the umpire will let you off. Yeah.
So like in terms of, to explain it to you, Eric, so Tony Modra was the big Crows man. So Rick Davies was the big Sturt full forward.
In Sandful guy.
And
this was before AFL and
Before
Adelaide.
AFL, and his nickname was the Jumbo Prince.
Oh,
that's what he was called.
That's a great nickname.
Yeah,
And what about most played music genre?
Oh, AC/DC, Cold Chisel, Australian rock.
Australian rock. Good.
Absolutely.
I
There
love
you
it.
go.
No, Neil, thank you very much for joining us, and thanks for your time in the ABL. We'll miss you out on the field there, but we'll see you around the Div 1 diamond, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, congratulations, mate, on a great
Cheers, guys.
career.
Thank you.
Neil Poulton, we'll be back. We're going to break down some community moments. You're watching In the Bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies.
Here at Just Think Furniture, we offer quality, factory direct furniture at wholesale prices. From wall clocks, prints and lamps to couches, beds, rugs and outdoor furniture. We make furniture affordable, where you save up to 80% on retail, offering you the finest furniture at discount prices. When you buy from us, you won't wait months for your new furniture. Everything you see is ready for immediate delivery, and mention Super League Baseball and we'll deliver it for free. We pride ourselves on customer service, and our team works tirelessly to offer our customers on-trend furniture at heavily discounted prices. Visit our huge warehouse in Beverley, open 7 days a week, or jump online to check out our latest deals at www.justthethingfurniture.com.
Back in the Bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. What's going on at Hilltop?
Well, we're moving into packaging now. We've also just we've just signed Milk Lab.
You're just Hilltop everything.
Yeah, so if you drink yummy almond milk, oat milk, soy milk,
I do.
We've now signed Milk Lab, so we can hook you up with that, and it's fantastic milk that's in a lot of cafes. If you probably go to 75-80% of cafes in South Australia, you would drink Milk Lab milk.
I love to hear it.
So I'll hook you up.
I love to hear it. Hilltop Milk Supplies is what it's turning into.
Hilltop everything
Hilltop
supplies.
supplies.
We're turning into everything.
Hilltop
Jack of all
supplies.
trades.
Big week though coming up, or big month coming up in baseball. So I just thought I'd run through a couple key dates. You'll find these up all on the website soon. It is silly season coming up. So we got finals starting in the women's D4 to D8 and junior starting in a couple weeks. There's only 2 more rounds left of that season. Junior award night on the 18th. Lower Div grand finals on March 26th. Women's D1 final on a Sunday. That should be a good one. It's a new time for that.
That's here, is it?
I don't know if it's here.
Yeah,
is it here?
Well,
Clubland. I think it is
okay.
in Clubland.
Yeah, right.
Junior grand finals also on the same day, so that'll just be a fun day in general. You get to see everybody going out and parading all their works for the season. Caps medal on the 30th. We'll have some prediction shows for that coming up.
We might even be somewhere involved in that one.
We might be. You'll have to stay tuned. But right after that, grand final starting on the Friday for the D1 competition. And then straight after that, we got Women's Open Championships right here in Adelaide. State Charter right here in Adelaide. And then they'll go in May and June to their respective charters.
And with everything that Eric's mentioned there, if you have some photos or some small videos and stuff from finals, or you win a grand final, all that sort of stuff,
shoot them through.
Send them in. We'll show them if they're. If you send them to us, we rely on the baseball public to send stuff in to us, and we'll make sure that it gets published and you can see yourself and see what's going on.
Yeah, especially the junior stuff. What's going on? We're here to relay your stories. So you tell us the story, we'll relay it. We love to hear those good stories. And we've had a bunch of people this year email through and send stuff through of baseball of all divisions. A few quick shout outs to junior shout outs, by the way, late in the season. I'm just going to run through a couple divisions, just a couple highlights. Yep. I know, like Woodville, I know it's not all about the wins in the junior levels, but we're going to start there as a starting point. Minor league, Port Adelaide 15-0, Saints 14-0. So those boys and girls in minor league doing good job.
And just so people understand the age group, so minor league, little league, intermediate might not mean something to people who don't understand the baseball, right? So minor league is what age group?
I think it's under 12, isn't it? Little league is under 13.
Yes, correct.
So Div 2 in Little League is the best competition maybe in South Australia in baseball right now. How's this done? First, there's a 10-team comp. Yep. First place team, 9 wins.
Yep.
8th place team, 7 wins. 2 rounds to go.
Wow. So the first-ranked team could lose the next 2 games and get knocked out?
Potentially.
Wow.
So shout out to anyone playing Little League Div 2 right now. You're maybe part of the most close competition
You need to keep winning Division 2. You need to get your coaches on you and keep winning those games. Otherwise, you may miss the finals.
Under 14s Intermediate League, Goodwood undefeated. In Junior League Div 1, East Torrens, they're having an undefeated season right now. I'm just jinxing all these teams like I've been doing.
They're in trouble.
Junior League Div 2, shout out to this. This is the matchup of the weekend in South Australian baseball. Goodwood, 11-1, first place. Gawler, 10-2, second place. Going head-to-head. Battle for the minor premiership out at Gawler. Goodwood Junior League boys and girls going against the Gawler Junior League boys and girls.
And they can't have many games left either.
No, there's just a couple rounds left.
Yeah,
Next weekend's the last weekend. So things are going down to the wire, and I'm here for it. So send us through some information. We'll love to share those stories.
More than happy to share it.
Especially those good ones. Now, we're going to, on that note, we are going to go through, this is a story and a half, and someone that I think who is a larger-than-life character in South Australian baseball. I met him when I came here in 2014 right away, like within the first week or two. He walked up, introduced himself, said, "Hey, I'm Wayne, this is what I do." But lost Wayne Durbridge over the weekend. We have a nice obit that Robert Laidlaw will have posted on the Baseball SA website tomorrow. But he was a player, coach, umpire, scout, and he was just a 10-year-old at Port Pirie, played at Port Adelaide Baseball Club. He won a Claxton Shield. He won a Caps medal. He was a runner-up a couple times in the Caps medal. He won the media MVP when Kevin Greatrix won a Caps medal. He was part of the 6 consecutive championships that Port Adelaide won. He played in 7 series. He hit 545 in one tournament.
That's
not that good?
Yeah, that's okay.
So after he hung up his cleats, he then became an umpire. He was in state championships. He literally did it all. He was a scout for the Adelaide Giants in the professional circle, part of the development, but with the Toronto Blue Jays in the Cincinnati Reds for the last 32 years or whatever it was in the MLB. Like literally, Robert Laidlaw put this question really, really nicely. Is there anything in baseball that Wayne Durbridge did not do?
No, he's done
Dibbles
it.
did it all.
Yeah, he's absolutely done it all, and he was a really good man.
And who doesn't know him in the baseball community?
No, well, everyone does, and that's what's it's important for us to get that out to the public and let everybody know that he was a stalwart of our game.
And he did, and from all the reports out of Port Adelaide, even when we did that live stream game between Port Adelaide and Woodville, he was in the hospital, and I think it was Ron Hawking went over and watched the game with him, and they just sat there and chatted baseball, like literally up until the very end. And then he passed on Saturday, and I don't think anyone really knew, and it just happens there. This happened on Saturday afternoon in Port Adelaide. We're getting absolutely smacked by West Torrens, down 10-3, bottom of the last inning. They score 7 runs, tie it up, and then they win in dramatic fashion in extras in a complete out-of-left-field victory in that one. And there's no way that Dibbles did not play a part in that.
Have his finger in that pie a little bit, you would think so.
So, the funeral later in this week, but a big shout-out to the whole Durbridge family and his wife, Bev, and their great children and their grandchildren. So, certainly will be missed around the baseball community. I only knew him for 7 years, and I could see what impact he had, so I can't imagine how people are feeling for people that knew him very well for the last 60, 70 years in this community.
Yep, absolutely.
So we will keep shouting out some different community shout-outs on that note, though. We'll start with some game moments. Taylor Rusinov, Henley and Grange, 50 games. Those women racking up the games. We're going to get the centuries in a couple seasons.
Yeah, it won't be long, will it?
Colin Talbot at Henley and Grange, big shout-out to you, 300 games. Owen Hughes and Matty Watkins at Goodwood both hit 200 games.
Same time.
Both
moved from Golden Grove at the same time.
And both at Goodwood.
Yep.
And both have been a key part of their little run there. Matty Watkins was the grand final MVP a few years ago.
Yep.
Sarah Short's played 200 games at Souths.
Might take a while to catch that one.
Oh my! What doesn't Sarah Short do?
She does it all by the look of that.
And she's pitching good now, and she's back on the mound. Reese Owen, 400 games at Woodville. Shout out to Reese. Seems much loved all the comments on social media around there. And the big shout out to even some debuts around the place. Tom Ganley, just 16, 17 years old. He made his debut at Adelaide. We were down there last night for the live stream. They're doing a good job with their juniors over at Adelaide.
Yep, they just need to stick at it. They'll keep getting better and better, and it won't be long before they're knocking on the finals door either.
Volunteer of the week comes from a very special place for me because obviously I'm directly involved in it, but this one goes to the Adelaide Giants Volunteers. We didn't know if we had a season. We found out we had a season on December 23rd.
Yep.
January 4th, we were playing games. We had volunteers go on the road and help out, people like Jeff Keevan, Johnny Tazzy. But then even back in Adelaide just to get these games up and have a crew of close to 30 people who do all those little things just to put on games at this field, everything from the field maintenance to everything around there. It just doesn't happen. It's not like we're flushed with cash that we're just paying people. Like, we don't have that. We rely on the volunteers to do it, and we have a lot of people from the baseball community that were at the games. They came out with their families. They joined us, and it was a big family and community effort to get those games on.
Yep.
I know the players and coaches appreciate it, the staff appreciate it, and I hope the fans appreciate it too, because honestly, like, we don't do anything. The Giants, ABL baseball does not exist without that volunteer crew. So thank you so much for making my life easier and getting these games on the road.
Yeah, no, they do a fantastic job, and we don't see a lot of what goes on because we're in behind closed doors or we're out on the field. So, as you said, you see them more than anybody. So we thank you and appreciate everything you do. And as Eric said, we wouldn't be up and running and being able to put on the show we do without you guys being involved in it.
And a big thanks to Ainsley Bayless, the volunteer coordinator with the Adelaide Giants. But that's going to do it for the show this week.
That's a good show.
Good chat with Neil Poulton. Different perspective on the game.
Yeah, totally. Having someone that's not on the field in a playing sense, he's had a bigger career than some of the people that we've actually spoken to on the show.
Yeah,
in regards to what he's done and
Ken Griffey Jr.
who
story.
he's been around, and A-Rod and those some guys. It's just amazing.
Crazy. Hopefully we have a big league guest next week, so we'll keep that tucked away.
Ooh.
We'll see what happens.
Don't know about that one, Eric.
This is In the Bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. Go out there, enjoy your baseball, send in stories and stuff to us, please. See you then.